You sure? You sure? No, game. I've decided not to load the thing I just asked you to load. There we go. So technically, by technically and literally, this happens immediately in the wake of the Leviathan fight, back during the main vanilla game.
Listen well. A king cannot lead by standing still. A king pushes onward always, accepting the consequences and never looking back. That said, a king can accept nothing without first accepting himself. Should he stand still, I ask you to stand by him and lend him a hand, as his friend and as his brother. Please, take care of my son.
I'm afraid I must ask your forgiveness.
The trial should be over by now, right?
Can't tell a bloody thing from here. Let's make for the altar. Look out!
Nice way to start, all things considered. This might take a while, by the way. Episode Ignis is one of the larger episodes. More substantive, if nothing else. We'll also have to talk about interpretations and how awesome Pave Maniac, Rax, Zygmus, Myron, and Cloud of the Stars are. Tigzar's okay, too.
Just a touch higher.
So, of course, now we're playing a mage, as opposed to Gladiolus's, berserker, warrior thing.
They're here. Pronto!
Oh, Iggy! I thought you were a goner.
It'll take more than little sequel time. I'm more worried about Noct. I'll find a way to the altar, but I need you to keep the enemy distracted.
You got it.
I need a better vantage point. They've got eyes everywhere.
Hello, Zalok. So, for God's sakes, yes, come on. Let me move.
Easy.
So I've every now and again I've heard someone ask me how I think a Mystic Knight or a Mage Knight should play. This is not exactly dissimilar. That's nice. Not you. You're awesome, Potato. I was irritated at the tutorial. So you notice how our attacks literally change, both in the reach they're doing and in the style of the attack. Like, for example, the fire is a lunge and quick hits. The ice is a big... Excuse me, let's try that again. The ice... Oh, for Christ's sakes, game! The ice is an AoE, basically a whirlwind attack that hits in the immediate area around you, and attacks noticeably slower. And then the lightning... basically adds a bit of a range to your attacks, and also a bit of stagger to them. So you can see how each attack style actually does play differently. Oh, and you can switch in mid-combo, by the way. Now, the only thing wrong with this is Ignis should have been this badass the whole game if he could do this kind of crap. But, you know, whatever, as they say. Hello, Aragona. It has been forever since I've seen you here. What's up, dude? He was saving up for the episode. But in all seriousness, I feel like this is an awesome playstyle. In fact, I'm almost ready to give it a plus by itself, because I very much enjoy playing as Ignis. I mean, I guess it makes sense to me, Max Time, that the mage, Ignis, would be better at magic than Noctis, despite Noctis being, you know, superpowered, basically. Why doesn't he keep this for the main game? I'm sorry. I know why. This was made substantially after the main game, that's why. The main game was rushed. Ignis, and actually most of the DLCs were the opposite problem. They took their time with most of the DLCs, and consequently they come across as more polished. Go figure.
Be safe.
So yeah, originally the Ignis story arc was actually going to be full-on strategy. Like, it was actually going to be a strategy-type game. This whole district control thing is all that's really remaining of that strategy element that was supposed to happen. And yeah, I know this is Mitsuda's music. I could tell. I'm not going to comment on it. Because then you just try to kill me with sticks.
Imperial forces moving from the city center toward the altar. All units withdraw from the front line immediately. I repeat, all units withdraw immediately.
Oh yeah, by the way, another thing that's awesome about his playstyle, you build up this clarity bar, and once you build up the clarity bar, you can unleash it depending on which specific thing you have equipped at a time. You notice I'm not cheating at all, because I kind of don't need to. I mean, I will probably end up cheating in the end, but, you know. So here's the fire total clarity, which is basically just damage. Yeah, unfortunately, next time he basically pulls double duty.
Wescom here. The Empire has the Archean surrounded, until he smashes their ships, that is.
And I need to get to the altar before that happens.
You could try crossing the Eastern Bridge, if it's still standing.
Here's to hoping. Heading that way now. Wish me luck.
Fingers crossed.
So here's... Yeah, he's the Dragon Quest character, next time.
What now?
I need your help. I fear Noct is in danger.
As is the entire city of Altisha, in case you haven't taken a look around. He and his girlfriend are probably long gone.
No. I made a promise to keep him safe. A promise I intend to keep.
How noble. I'll see what my men can do, but I won't promise anything.
Ignis here. You copy?
Right away!
What's your status?
Preoccupied!
And probably will be for a while.
Understood. Pronto? Pronto! Do you copy?
Basically, yes. Anyways, you'll notice how lightning is wonderful for getting around, fire is wonderful for damage, and ice is wonderful for CC. All three have a use, and you can swap on the fly, so... Yeah, this is a great setup. The Legion Lorerun is on the second channel to Autumn. That should answer your question. So I have a philosophical question for you guys. Once upon a time, we were doing something I called in-depth reviews. We kind of canceled those because of various reasons. But the idea behind the in-depth reviews and the then and nows both kind of got folded into the same concept, which is what we now call the premiere runs and the in-depth classics. But along the way, the mentality behind the rating system changed. Now, I know this is confusing for some people since, you know, both use the same, seemingly the same system, pluses and minuses. But, like I said, the idea and mentality behind it is fundamentally different. That's why I say, for example, that there's no... we have yet to review FF6, even though we did do a pluses and minuses thing on FF6. Makes sense? Now, here's the question. In the new system... we obviously give pluses to music, either in gameplay or in story, depending on how it's utilized. What do we do if there's, like, one song that is really, really, really good, either in its implementation or just in the quality of the song itself? And I'm talking about top-tier stuff. This is something that basically wouldn't come up all that often. In the old system, we actually had a separate rating just for sound and music. So...
Wescom mentioned a bridge.
No, FF6 isn't my favorite soundtrack. That would be FF4. Stop clicking. Let me use a hypothetical example here. Hang on a second. Like, imagine for a moment if we could... Imagine for a moment we're reviewing Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, which has a very good soundtrack. Like, a legitimately excellent soundtrack. But see, the catch is, to use that example, very few of those songs are used properly. They just happen to be good. There's only one song in Final Fantasy Mystic Quest which is actually used well. However, that one song... Here, hang on. Let me make my point. There's another problem here, too, and this is the other thing I'm kind of wrestling with. It's going to be subjective. Like, I don't even like Mitsuda's music, right? I don't like the Beatles, to go with the most egregious example that always gets everyone hating me. You know, so... Obviously, all these reviews are subjective anyways, and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, I feel weird giving a plus to a song, which is why I'm asking you guys of your thoughts on the matter. But I can use an example, and I will use an example from Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. If I can find it... Hang on. And that example is this. To make my point while this song plays, my knee-jerk reaction, my gut, emotional, subjective reaction is... I would do this in tiers. A good soundtrack, like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, would get A+. A series of good songs would all be tacked in under an aggregate. But a truly amazing song, like the one playing right now, would be a separate plus. Now that was what I was thinking myself. Do it in that kind of a tiered system. So for example, Devil May Cry 5 should have gotten 2 pluses for music. I don't remember if it did or not. But anyways, it would get plus for the soundtrack. Whereas something like FF4 would gain a plus for the soundtrack, a plus for several songs, and then a plus for example, I'll just scroll up a bit. It's already in the Fs here. And then a plus for... Or... Now, FF4 is my favorite soundtrack of all time, so I am exceptionally biased here. But this is why we need to debate this, because one way or another, this is going to be an extremely subjective topic. This is another way to demonstrably show how different the old rating system is from the new one, by the way. Because in the old system, basically every cool moment or every cool song got a plus, whereas in this, a plus is supposed to be more substantive. Like, what we now call part of an aggregate used to be a plus or a minus by itself. Nowadays, we are more demanding of what deserves a plus or a minus. No one plays Type 0. Of course I play Type 0. Although I don't think I have the soundtrack locally. So... Like, okay, so to go back to the FF4 example... Rax says it hinges on the moment. So what would you think of the moment when this fires up? I should say moments. There are 2. Anyways, sorry for jumping to FF4, which, like I said, is kind of the nuclear option for me when it comes to music. But I was thinking about it last night because, well, because it's never really come up before. None of the games we've ever reviewed to date have had any individual songs that for me hit this point. But I was thinking about how more and more FFs are being added to the queue for IDCs, and I started thinking about how there are certain individual songs which just really, really, really shine in some of these, not only in their own right, but in terms of the way they are utilized. Which, got me thinking about this exact point. And, well, to be blunt, there is one song in FF15 which kind of approaches this for me, which would be... Like, that's a really good song. But this boils back to something. So several people say we're reviewing the game, not the soundtrack. Let me go ahead and officially disagree with that. In my opinion, music is an integral part of fiction in general, and its application and usage massively matters to me. And thus, in my opinion, a bad soundtrack can hurt a game, and a good soundtrack can elevate a game. This also applies to television, and this also applies to movies. I will actually use a Star Trek example to make my point. In Season 1 through 3 of TNG, there was about 4 composers who did the music for those episodes. And then there were those episodes that were done by the guy whose name I can never think of. I can literally never think of his damn name. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Hang on. Star Trek. Apparently there's a song called Best of Both Worlds that has nothing to do with that. Ron Jones. God, I can never think of the guy's name. Ron Jones. And I know some of you have been watching my TNG stuff as we go, and I've been pointing out every time it's his music. And there are a number of episodes which are much better than they should be because of the application of his music. You know what I mean? Or maybe you don't know what I mean, because maybe you've never seen TNG Season 1 through 3. I don't know. He did a few things in Season 4 as well. The Drumhead was actually his last episode. A good episode, consequently. See, now, several people are saying the idea that if the song is really an excellent song, but is misapplied, then it shouldn't count. Now, this is going to sound like a strange question, but can we think of an example of that? Like, it's usually easier, at least for me, to think of examples where songs are properly utilized. Where a song demonstrably adds to the moment. Such as the one that was just brought up. Which is not there, apparently. There you go. Although it helps that this song only plays for one scene in the entire game. I got an example. Hang on. I just thought of an example. So, in my opinion, this is one of the best songs in FF7. However, I mean, this fight is just kind of there, right? How many of you even remember the Genova synthesis? Oh, God, I don't even remember which Genova it is. Hang on. I don't remember which Genova this is. It is synthesis. I was right. Okay, so anyways, how many of you even remembered the Genova synthesis scene? Or boss? Now, I love this song. Like I said, this is one of my favorite songs in FF7. I'd say my top 3. But this boss fight's just kind of there. Yeah, it doesn't help that the boss is a joke, since she doesn't scale like some of the later last bosses do. The thing I remember most about Genova Synthesis is the fact that she's the only Genova that looks like a heart, which is a holdover from the original documents designing Genova. And then, yeah, it's over. So I suppose, going back to... I like how Takoida's making fun of me here. Going back to the idea, I suppose in that circumstance, you know, Genova Absolute probably doesn't deserve a positive because of its application. Even though I absolutely adore the song, its application in the fight just is like, okay. Actually, I do have another example now that I'm thinking about it, although I don't remember the name of the song, so I gotta look for it. Hang on. It's another FF7 song. It's the last dungeon song. Here it is, Judgment Day, Judgment Day. This is another of my favorite songs in FF7, and I've said many times that I find the last dungeon of FF7 to be kind of pathetic. So this would be another example of an absolutely amazing song for me that's just kind of wasted. So I suppose in both cases they would not deserve a positive. Even though, you know, both are good songs, both are only used once, as Tigzar mentions. Okay, I guess we can do that. You know, in opposition to, for example, just to use the opposite. See, like, for example, despite Sephiroth's, that being Sephiroth's theme, it's actually only used, like, 5 times in the whole game. You know. It is fairly well utilized, in other words. FF10 too, that's actually another good example of a game that actually has surprisingly good music, and also awful and terrible music, and is mostly completely misapplied. Alright, so I think we've got a good consensus here then. Alright, moving on with the game, moving on. Oh yeah, I muted the game, so I could play the... There we go. Oh, I do too, Tigzar. There's also kind of, like, I think the mission start theme, I think is what it's called, Tigzar, which I really hate. Which you hear all the time in 10-2. Train of thought, Rax. Apocalyptus blah 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 Noctis is what really got me thinking about it. Now, we already gave a plus to the scene, and the music is part of that. In fact, I should actually make a note of that just to make it clear. Apocalypsis, I believe. Noctis. There we go. The Apocalypsis Noctis is what got me thinking about it, but that led me to think about FF4. It led me straight to FF4, which got me to thinking about, well, how would I apply some of those songs? Because there's like 5 songs that are amongst my favorite songs of all time that are all from FF4. And that got me thinking about FF7, and that got me thinking about Chrono Trigger, and just all sorts of games where the soundtrack is just above and beyond for me. And I just started going down the rabbit hole on the thought process. Oh god, Psychotic, why would you even mention that song? Now I hear it in my brain.
Ring yet, Commander. And what of Luna Freya?
Both, High Commander. But our forces are unable to extract either at present.
Penguin Man!
Approaching the altar, so long as the Archean stands in our way.
Even the gods are on his side. Neither the king nor the oracle will escape with their lives if the fighting continues. Order a full retreat. I'm going in alone.
But sir...
I assume you were already familiar with how I got this arm.
Yes, sir.
Then you must also know the ring is worthless without one who can wield it.
Very well, sir. How dare he address me with such impudence? Has he forgotten his place entirely? Or is he too concerned about his sister to care?
Which version of it, Psychotic?
Which way to the altar?
Noctis will be made useful. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I killed them too quickly.
They just keep coming.
I really did kill them too quickly. Because they had to do the animation for spawning the ads. Yep, here they come.
Pull out the big gun.
Totally not cheating now. No, I turned on the cheats to speed it up at a certain point. Ah, crud.
There's more?
No, we're okay, we're okay. And it's because I knew this section was coming up. Just killing and killing and killing and killing and killing. And let's just speed this up. It's very fun, don't mistake me, but yeah, let's go.
Attention, all units. Assemble at the docks and prepare for withdrawal immediately. We depart in 3 minutes.
Wait! I'm headed to the altar. I need a boat.
Have you lost your marbles?
No, but we'll lose the king if we don't act.
Give him what he wants.
Understood.
You've my thanks.
Keep them. I'll take Gil instead. Do you copy?
Nice lady.
Ain't a hard question, Iggy. Do you copy? Yes or no?
Yes, I copy.
Then speak up next time. Look, I'm just as worried as you are. But we can't go losing our heads. If we want to save Nock, we've got to keep it together.
Yes. I suppose you're right.
We'll keep moving. Hang in there, Iggy.
I will. Thanks.
So, I'm thinking a positive for the gameplay of this section. What do you guys think? In all honesty, not counting Arden, which we'll talk about much later, this feels like the best gameplay of FF15 to me right here. And I mean that sincerely. The combat style is fun. The enemies aren't too much. The whipping around with the freaking hook shot is awesome.
Yeah.
The music's terrible. The background comm chatter is actually pretty good and sliced in as it should be, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, Psychotic. I'd guarantee at least some of this is from stuff that was on the cutting room floor. Like, at least some of it. The only complaint I have gameplay-wise, really, there we go, is that there's a little bit too much trash for my sakes. Yeah, I know, I say that a lot, but I mean it. There is a little bit too much trash here. That's why I decided to go ahead and turn the cheats on. Because we would have been there for at least another 10 minutes if I was just logging through that normally.
There you are, ready to ship out.
Ready as I'll ever be. You best get the civilians out of here while there's still time.
Listen, are you sure about this?
Of course.
Well, just make sure you come back alive. Both of you.
Now, I have to admit, I haven't 100% decided which ending we should go for first.
Yeah.
And I agree, the hookshot feels like a replacement for the warp. Although, better coded overall. I mean, I've been having issues with the warp the whole game.
My way.
The real one. Which one? Sorry. Hello, Shogun Gaming.
Right.
So that's interesting that both of you say I should go for the canon ending first. I was thinking of the exact opposite. You know, ending with the canon one, which then leads into the train sequence. We do have something to discuss with the other ending, so I suppose that's valid. See, anyways, you remember how I mentioned why is Titan here? This gives the answer for why Titan is here. He is quite literally protecting Noctis from the Empire. Not really, Mr. Egypt. Because they're stupid, Takoida. Very stupid.
Well, look who it is. What could one of His Majesty's royal retainers be doing here, of all places?
Where's his speaker? Or mic, I guess. No, the hookshot's broken.
Bloody hell. I must thank you for your visit to Fort Follow. Do allow me to express my gratitude.
Yeah, sorry for losing you in 30 seconds on accident. Somehow. Still not sure how that happened. It's okay, he's a stormtrooper.
Surrender now, and I'll ensure your end is as painless as possible.
Never!
Then you leave me no choice.
They come.
Plenty more where that came from.
He really cannot aim worth the crap.
They say one good turn deserves another.
Okay, I just want to point out that while this is cool, if the Empire's mechs can do this, how do they lose any battle? Although in the interest of fairness, they are winning everywhere, so I guess whatever.
I'm afraid not. It will never be yours. I'll make sure of it.
Now to kill him in one shot! No, I'm kidding, I turned it off.
You shall rue the day you defy the Niflheim Empire.
Let's see if I can move. There we go. Hey, Kay. You missed the big discussion, and we'll never repeat it for you. Ever, 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 ever. The nature of how to review things like music and games.
Just like that pathetic old servant did back in the stall.
Enough!
That's not a bad idea, actually, Melkor.
This simply won't do. I must get my hands on the ring before that impudent outsider Ravis beats me to it. You are certainly putting up quite a fight.
Of course, we gotta be a Dragoon on top of everything else. We can also power up our attacks, by the way. I forgot to mention that earlier. Oh, God. So, yeah, one of the things Ignis gets as a part of this is the ability to cook in combat.
Wretch.
Seriously. There's an item over there. Hey, Ravis. Man, if only you were a character. Oh well.
Ravis.
quarrel with you, boy. Join me.
Or die.
Away to the king and the oracle.
How do I know I can trust you?
Have you any other options?
You have a point.
Why haven't they started shooting yet?
Then it's settled.
Like, I'm sorry to complain, but really? I mean, I get that they're golems. Although, actually, only some of these are golems, aren't they? Like, aren't those people over there? These guys? Ah, whatever. Come on, group up, group up, group up. Ooh, there you go. Sure, max time. Spoil away. I don't actually know what you're spoiling. Like, I'm assuming it has to do with the context of the troops. Funnily enough, episode Aranea was actually supposed to... So, okay. We complained earlier about how there's no real characterization for the Empire, or the actual people in the Empire. Episode Aranea was going to address that. And it was going to contain quite a bit of characterization for the Empire. Go figure, right?
You're mine!
Whoops, that was literally a misclick.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know, can I mention something that amuses me slightly? I've had to defend for years why I don't like Mitsuda's composing style. But no one's ever had to defend why they like him to me. So let me ask you something, guys. Why do you like Mitsuda's music?
You might be of use after all. Follow me, if you're ready.
Assuming you do. Sorry, Dakota. Assuming you do. Mitsuda has done parts of Chrono Trigger, all of Chrono Cross, Xenogears, probably some other things.
Magitech armor.
Indeed.
He's doing the music we're hearing right now.
You needn't waste your time. I've ordered a full retreat. They'll be gone soon enough.
Very well.
What of it?
I have doubts that you were born with a prosthetic.
Your doubts are correct. I once believed it was I who was destined to dispel the darkness. This is proof I was wrong.
Why turn against the Empire? Why now?
My sister's life is at stake. Is that not reason enough?
Oh.
The paths we tread may differ, but the blood coursing through our veins is one. So too is our calling. I must protect her.
Is it safe to assume this means you'll lend Noct a hand?
Don't be asinine. Our interests may have aligned in this moment, but I have not allied myself with him. The Empire is after the ring of the Lucii. If the ring falls into the wrong hands, I fear there's little hope for either of them.
Then we must hurry.
We haven't much time.
I'm aware.
Tread quietly.
I know.
Keep up.
Right.
Well, that was easy. Kind of pathetically easy, really. I mean, it makes sense to me, Kay. They both have the same general mentality.
Ready?
Completely different approaches to it, but the same general thought. They are, in short, both the I'm dedicated to someone else kind of person. I'm sorry, but these matchstick armors are really easy to take out, aren't they? Like, it's sort of sad we're spending less effort on them than we do on the trash.
Tell me, do you truly believe Noctis is the one true king?
I believe it goes without saying.
Yet when the flames of war enshrouded Tenebrae, his father spared us nary a second thought. No savior king could possibly be born of such cowardice.
To aid the king is the Oracle's calling, is it not? Or have you simply forgotten the pledge sworn by your forebears?
I have not forgotten, nor have I forgiven.
Tyrants. Let's end it.
Now that is very interesting to me, Melkor, by the way. Thank you for sharing, by the way. One of the biggest things I don't care for about Mitsuda's musical style is that I don't feel anything when I hear it.
I got you now.
Now, that being stated, I had to spend an entire section of a Q&A on a podcast on Mike's show, back when they were still called Dark Pixel, defending why I didn't like Mitsuda. So I've obviously put a lot of thought into the matter. No, Zillow. I've barely played it. It's a stream game, so I'm waiting for streaming it. God, I don't even know if I still have my notes about that. See, I don't know music theory off the top of my head. I don't know the vocabulary. I don't know the specifics of it. So I'd have to actually literally look at my notes to justify why it is that we can't. Because I actually asked a friend of mine who is, a singer and who does her own music, in order to try and justify why I didn't care for Mitsuda's music style. You know, that's actually true, Rax. That's an interesting point. And I do know that Mitsuda's musical style is well beloved. It's probably why he keeps getting work.
You all right?
Well enough.
You're resilient, I'll give you that. If Noctis is the true king, he still has much to prove. The darkness will not wait for his ascent. It will consume our star, and all upon it.
I know. He may not yet grasp the gravity of his calling, but once he does, he will rise to the occasion and fulfill his destiny.
One can only hope you're right.
Listen, stars, planets, I mean, what's the difference? It's only a few billion degrees.
Move quickly.
I might be exaggerating. I don't actually know the temperature of the star. I know that 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit is roughly the surface temperature.
Freya.
Doug!
Are you her dog?
I forget which one you are. You're not Umbra. You're the other one.
A power greater greater than even that of the six,
Perna.
purifying all by the light of the crystal and the glaives of rulers past. Only at the throne can the chosen receive it, and only at the cost of a life his own.
For no reason.
King of Kings shall be granted the power to banish the darkness, but the blood price must be paid.
Again, for no reason.
To cast out the usurper and usher in dawn's light will cost the life of the chosen. Many sacrificed all for the king, so must the king sacrifice himself for all.
For no reason.
Enter into reflection, let the light of providence shine within.
What did I just see? A vision of what's to come?
Was that the ending? Now, I gotta say something. I keep saying for no reason. In the vanilla game, no reason is ever given for why the sacrifices, plural, by the way, are necessary. I do have a theory as to why the sacrifices exist, and it's kind of built into the Dawn timeline. How many of you have seen my StarCraft lore run? Now, I'm going to spoil something minor from the StarCraft lore run, so FYI one way or the other. Within the StarCraft lore run, there are two characters, one of whom is a Xel'Naga, and the other whom is a subservient of a Xel'Naga. I'm going to avoid names and specifics, but that character is someone who has a very specific attitude. Now, it's very stupid, and I made fun of it constantly, but it was also very consistently written throughout the course of the work. His attitude was, I'll use a parallel. I'm going to use this toothbrush, brush my teeth, and now I'm done using this toothbrush. And I throw it away. That was his attitude. He uses up tools and then deliberately discards them. This is how I feel the Astrals in general, but Bahamut in specific works. That Bahamut is very much a, you will, once you have fulfilled your one and only purpose to me, you're screwed. Right, your one and only purpose, you're gone. Yeah, I guess if I was really to do it, I would like snap this in half and then sew it. So you notice I didn't actually brush my teeth with this. This is actually for getting into the cracks of things on like my keyboard and my mouse to make sure they're clean. It's one of the easiest ways to get into little stuff like that for me. I like staying clean. What do you want from me? Anyways, so that's why that's what I think's going on. I think Bahamut is basically a dick and insists that you have done the only thing that I have bestowed upon you, the only purpose you have ever had. Therefore, you must now die because you are of no more use to me. Which, if you're paying attention, is stupid for two reasons. One, you might need it for that use again in the future, and two, you might need it for other uses. Never mind the morality involved. But no, you've expended your one purpose to me, die. In fact, in the Dawn timeline, which I know I keep referencing, Bahamut is literally stated to view all other beings as flowers. As in, literally, your purpose is to be there and look pretty, but to be cold if something goes wrong with you. Like, oh no, there's a sickness in my flowers. I must burn the entire field of flowers.
Knocked!
Heal, 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 heal.
No.
First, the Lucians stole from me my mother. And now they make a sacrifice of my sister. Get out of my way!
What are you doing?
What I should have done long ago, ridding us of this menace.
Small point. Notice how Ignis does not go for a mortal blow there against Ravis, even though he was in literally the perfect position to get him right in between the ribs or in the gut. I only point that out because I think it's relevant to show how Ignis, despite his commitment, does not actually want to kill Ravis here. He, in fact, probably understands Ravis's pain and is more trying to reach him rather than treating him as an enemy. A minor point, but something I wanted to bring up.
Stand in my way, and you too shall be the same fate. Death! Come to your senses, man! I understand the pain you must be feeling. But Noct isn't the one who did this to her. Oh, yes, he is. Perish in despair! Lady Lunafreya came to her king's aid in his time of need. She was fulfilling her calling. Don't try to justify this! She didn't need to die! Lucian Pawn! Kill him, and her sacrifice will have been for naught. Kill him, and you kill her hopes for the future. What hope is there in a future that my sister will never see? Step aside. Cuts my Too late. Noct didn't choose to become king. His ascension was ordained by the crystal. It wasn't mere happenstance. It was a mistake. One that must be corrected. Of all people, must understand how Noct feels. Bereft of both parents, forced to carry on despite losing those you love. We both feel that pain. I feel nothing. The power of the storm surges through my blade. Death to Noctis and his men! Fall to my blade! Lucian Pawn! Curse your fool, king. You're mine! I always knew. That you would face your fate without fear. Fulfill your duty without regret. But part of me always hoped that I might see you happy one day. Your burdens lifted, free to live and love as you please. You would have made a beautiful bride.
Even in death, the Oracle does not rest. Only once the darkness is dispelled is her calling truly fulfilled. And as in life, I know she will confront that challenge with a smile on her face. Oh, sister, please don't go. Please don't leave me.
Iggy! Gladio! Are you all right? Where's Prompto? Well, what have we here?
You... Arden.
Oh dear. Was I that transparent?
The game's up, my boy.
And then they all die. The end.
Come now, why not follow your liege's lead and stop resisting?
Never!
You risked life and limb to safeguard the King of Kings, only to witness him fail so spectacularly. It must be so disappointing.
Unhand him!
I know I am. Oh, what good is a world that only ever lets you down? Why not end it all right here?
No. You can't. No!
My, you two certainly have become fast friends. Permit me to make a suggestion. Rather than follow this flotsam and float away to a watery grave, why not come with me? What do you say? I'll take that as a no.
I swore an oath to stand with Noct and keep him safe. Whatever it takes, I will protect him.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
I may not be of royal blood, but if a glaive can harness its power, then so can I! Kings of Lucis, lend me your strength!
Oh yeah, it's the guy to replace the smoke alarm. So I'm gonna have to AFK again here in a minute.
Well, they've shown you their favor after all. Well, if you're so keen on keeping him safe, I'd like to see you try.
It's over!
No time to waste now. If you are quick about it, you're the one I would wipe out dead. Oh, lucky to be skillful fighters. If they're all too soft to show them the love. Why not cease this futile show? Your appeals to hope and loyalty will all come to naught in the end.
No! You're wrong.
Don't let me forget to talk about StarCraft
Phew, wasn't
for this
that
section.
exhilarating? I think that's enough for one day.
Nox.
That was rather reckless.
Where's Noct? Is he all right?
More or less. All thanks to you.
Thank goodness.
Iggy! Where are you?
Be still. Conserve your strength. You've a calling to fulfill.
Not!
As do I. May fortune favor us both. And you as well, Noctis.
Please, forgive me.
I would say that's exaggerating, Berserkero. I mean, obviously less people were involved, but they still had the FF15 team working on this. So I wasn't gonna do the canon thing first, but whatever. Oh, I didn't know that, Velvedrix. Whatever.
How are you feeling? Knocked. Perhaps it might be best if we brought our journey to a close.
Why?
It's just that, we've already lost so much. Too much.
Are you kidding me? That's exactly why I have to keep going. Because if I give up now, their sacrifices would have been for nothing. And you... You of all people... You should know that better than anyone.
The decision is yours to make, and yours alone. But do remember, we will stand with you always, and help you bear your burdens. Don't be afraid to let us share the load. I'll be back.
The canon explanation, Mr. Egypt, is that Bahamut is a dick. I'm not actually kidding, by the way. The canon explanation is that they demand a sacrifice for using their power. For no reason. There's no... Like, it's not like they need it. It's not like they even want it. It's just, well, if you're going to use my crap, well, then you're going to have to pay, too. This is actually made more clear in the original Japanese dialogue, because it makes it clear that there has to be a payment for any time they use the ring or they use any of the powers of the astrals. So, in Ignis's case, he lost his sight. That was the blood price he had to pay.
You know, looking back, it wasn't all bad.
I suppose we had some fun along the way.
And our fair share of trouble, too. But I don't have any regrets. Luna and you guys brought me this far. And now, I'm on my own.
No, you won't be going alone.
No, you're right. I mean, I wouldn't have made it all this way without you guys.
Why stop now? In the end, I might not have you at my side, but I'll always have you in my heart. Thanks. Thanks for everything, Iggy.
I know I'm muted, guys. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him.
Iggy! Gladio! Are you all right? Where's Prompto?
Well, well. What have we here?
You... Arden.
Oh dear. Was I that transparent?
The game's up, my boy. Come now, why not follow your liege's lead and stop resisting?
Never!
You risked life and limb to safeguard the King of Kings, only to witness him fail so spectacularly. You must be so disappointed.
Unhand him!
I know I am. Oh, what good is a world that only ever lets you down? Why not end it all right here?
No. You can't. Nacht!
My, you two certainly have become fast friends. Permit me to make a suggestion. Rather than follow this flotsam and float away to a watery grave, why not come with me? What do you say?
Where are we?
Oh, you have to ask? Why, Zignora's Keep, of course. Otherwise known as the current residence of your precious crystal. Have I piqued your curiosity? You must have so many questions. Seek the answers yourself, if you dare.
Yeah, that was a crash, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, guys. So, I guess we will cut off for right now. Boop.